The last one is 9. There's 9. So some people are wondering about letter D. What is the longest path that you can get from the small-toothed whale? And it's going to be 9. So there is a way to get it. I'll show you on Monday, or maybe offer a little bit of extra credit if you can find the path all on your own. Anyhow, for those of you who need a quick refresher on how to do food webs, basically the rule up here is the main one. Remember to only count backwards against the arrows, and don't count the one that you start on. You're trying to get down to the producer level, and you know you're at the producer level when there are no more arrows behind it. So for example, phytoplankton, no arrows behind it, you've reached the bottom. Seaweeds, again, no arrows behind it, you've reached the bottom. Down over here, it's kind of upside down. Phytoplankton, you've reached the bottom because there's no arrows behind it. Seaweed, you've reached the bottom, there's no arrows behind it. And so you can see that trend over here with phytoplankton here, and again, seaweeds over here, where there are just no more arrows behind it. And you know you've reached the bottom. So like, here there's an arrow going this way, but once you reach here, no more arrows. So that's the goal of all these food webs. You want to try to find the longest possible path. So it's not about the shortest path, it is about finding the longest path. So here, obviously not quite the ocean, but the rules still apply. If I wanted you to find me what level is the lion, right? You would have to check multiple things. You're going down to the producer level where, again, just like algae or phytoplankton or seaweed, there's no arrows behind these. So you know you've reached the bottom. So, you're just checking multiple paths working backwards. 1, 2, that would make the lion a second level consumer this way. Okay, check the other ones. 1, 2, also second level consumer. 1, 2, that would make it a second level consumer. So no matter what path you take for the lion, it ends up being a second consumer, but you got to check all of them. So same thing like the eagle. So, 1, 2, 3, this path is a third level consumer. 1, 2, 3. Actually, they should have one more going here. This one's kind of messed up. But it really should be a fourth level consumer going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth level consumer. So even though you can get a 3 this way, you would call it a fourth level consumer because that's the highest number that you see here. Something like this, same thing. So let me zoom out because you can't see the bottom part, which is phytoplankton. If I ask you like, okay, what about herbivorous zooplankton? Well, 1, because you can only move back 1. What about krill? 1. Okay, that's one possibility. But then you could also go this way. 1, 2. The highest level the krill is a 2. So you would say it's a second level consumer. Again, notice you got to check, again, different routes. So as soon as you see 2 arrows pointing at something, you're going to have to follow through and check all the routes available. Like once you get here to herbivorous zooplankton, there's only 1 arrow going backwards. So that's the only path. But let's just say something like the smaller toothed whales right here. So if you look, like you can take 3 different paths, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this route, it's a 5th level, but there's others that would be higher. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a 4. 1, 2, 3, that's a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you keep doing that. Like you keep doing that until you find the highest possible level. Now, I'm not going to give you one of these on a quiz. Like it's too much. Maybe on a test where you have a little bit more time, but definitely not on a quiz. On a quiz, you might see something like this, something that's a little bit more simplified, and I ask you, okay, what level is a starfish? So you can go like, okay, 1, 2, 3, maybe 1. No, that's really the only path you can take on the starfish. But basically, you get the idea of just count backwards until you get down to one where you can't move backwards anymore. So, like for example, this one right here. Let's just say I'm talking about the krill. In this particular food web, what's its highest level? 1, because there's only 1 path. If you look at the fish, if I say, okay, what's the highest level for the fish? 1, 2. Check the other route. 1, 2. Highest level for the fish is 2. Leopard seal, okay, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this particular food web, the highest level for the leopard seal is a 4th level consumer. But you also want to check this side because there's a producer on this side. So just to double check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 4 is the highest possible number, no matter whether you're going the phytoplankton route or the seaweed route.